What is up, guys? This is Nate with Mud Digger Off-Road. So I'm just going to go through and answer a couple of quick questions that we seem to be getting about the 2021 and 2022 Ford Bronco full size, not the Sport this time. So just in regards to the small spacer lifts, to, kind of what you guys are wanting to do, kind of stay on a little bit of a budget, not go too crazy high, but, pick the overall ride height up on these new Broncos. So we've already got the front 2-inch on this 22 Outer Banks here. And so the customer actually brought us a Zone 2-inch front and rear strut spacer kit. We ended up having some issues with it, and we ended up going ahead and overnighting the Rough Country kit. Both are going to be this poly plastic kind of spacer. The only ones that I'm familiar with on the smaller kits that are still using a metal spacer is going to be Superlift. A lot of guys have, potential squeaking issues running the metal spacers. So a lot of the brands have opted to go toward, this like poly composite buildup on it. So a couple of the small differences, like I said, we did have a couple of issues with the Zone kit. And I'm going to show you why real quick, just to kind of answer some questions if y'all are, deciding between, the Zone or the Rough Country. So right here is a side-by-side comparison. This guy right here, that's going to be the Zone 2-inch. They're both measuring identical to each other as far as height go. But we've got the Zone 2-inch here and the Rough Country 2-inch here. The biggest difference in why we had issues with it, so where the studs actually slide in right here on the bottom side to effectively recreate these strut hat studs up here. On the Zone kit, they slid all the way in there and they weren't tight. And we ended up having an issue, and I don't know if you can see this, but how close that wall is. And these studs, I want to say, only get torqued to about 36 foot-pounds, but that is not even a 16th of an inch to the side of that wall there. Same thing on this guy. It is just unreasonably close. Just kind of how they designed it with the point of it there. So we actually had the side of this spacer break out well before we hit that 33 foot-pound torque hit on that torque wrench. This is a little bit, just a couple of reasons why I prefer the Rough Country over the Zone. So once again, this is going to be the Rough Country setup. And a lot of guys are saying, you don't have the surface area that you do on the Zone over on the Rough Country. But I mean, when you look at it overall, the factory strut just uses this small mounting surface around each stud. This part of the strut top hat doesn't make any contact with the mount. So it's literally just contacting here. So I get the surface area, but comparing it to an OE application, it's not, not relevant, not an issue. Another thing that I did like about the Rough Country setup better, like I said, the studs slide all the way in, and those holes are probably an inch or so deep. The ones on the Rough Country spacers, they're still countersunk, but they're only countersunk the depth of that bolt head. And it's a lot tighter fit. You have to pry or push the studs in, and it holds them tight when you go ahead and put that on there and slide it in. I still have to remove that pin there. But when you go ahead and put it on there and slide it up, it kind of holds the bolts in place versus on this Zone kit. When you put that on there, the bolts keep wanting to fall down and fall out of the spacer. Another thing the Rough Country did, obviously you still have, some tight clearances, which needs to be done for fitment. But what Rough Country did is they used the long edge of the bolt right there to minimize the amount of stress on one point. So the Zone kit, you've got that super, super tight tolerance area there just on one point, and the Rough Country kind of spreads it between the two outermost points. So just a quick recap on it, guys. Out of these two, they're both priced pretty comparably. I want to say the Rough Country is about $20 cheaper. But out of these two, would definitely definitely recommend rolling with the rough country over the zone, guys. Just starting to see issues with the application on that zone setup. So, all right, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below, or feel free to give us a phone call or shoot us a text off the website at Mud Digger Off Road. Thank you.